Trump's back in the White House, making power plays. Gaza talks with Blair while the world just waits. Post-war plans on the table, future unclear. Warships sailing south, Venezuela's fear. 8 vessels strong on an anti-cartel run. Maduro's watching close as tensions come undone. The world keeps turning, power keeps shifting. Nations keep learning, alliances drifting. From Gaza's sandy shores to Europe's cold divide, the news keeps rolling like an endless tide. Greenland's caught between 2 powers again. Denmark calls the diplomat, tensions in the wind. Influence campaigns trying to sow discord, while Russia strikes Ukraine with another sword. Over 100,000 left without their life. Zelensky speaks of energy under siege tonight. The world keeps turning, power keeps shifting. Nations keep learning, alliances drifting. From Gaza's sandy shores to Europe's cold divide, the news keeps rolling like an endless tide. India feels the sting of 50% more. Tariffs hit like thunder, trade relations poor. Punished for that Russian oil, friendship strained, while Germany debates if service should be trained. Moscow's shadow looming, defense ranks to grow. Caught between 2 powers, which way should they go? From Washington's halls to European streets, every nation's dancing to different beats. Alliances tested, loyalties tried, in this complex world where truth and power collide. The news keeps rolling like an endless tide. The news keeps rolling like an endless tide.
Welcome back to today's news roundup for August 27th. We've got some major international developments to cover that really show how interconnected our global political landscape has become. Let's start with what's happening in Washington, where President Trump is making some significant moves on multiple fronts. Trump held a high-level meeting with advisors, including Jared Kushner and former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair, to discuss Gaza's post-war future. This comes at a critical time as Israel prepares to seize Gaza City in what appears to be a step toward full territorial control. The discussions are focusing on long-term plans for the region, with Trump reportedly considering some pretty dramatic ideas about Palestinian resettlement and potential development projects. Meanwhile, the U.S. is flexing its military muscle in a completely different theater, sending 8 warships south on what's being described as an anti-cartel mission. This naval buildup has definitely caught Venezuela's attention and is making President Nicolás Maduro nervous. The Trump administration has been increasingly vocal about treating the Maduro government as a drug cartel operation, and this show of force is raising questions about potential military action. Speaking of international tensions, we're seeing some interesting diplomatic friction between the United States and Denmark over Greenland. Denmark actually summoned a U.S. diplomat over what they're calling alleged influence campaigns targeting Greenland. Danish intelligence agencies are reporting that Greenland has become a target for various kinds of influence operations, presumably aimed at creating discord between Denmark and Greenland. This ties back to Trump's previous expressions of interest in acquiring Greenland, which has remained a sore point in U.S.-Danish relations. The situation in Ukraine continues to deteriorate as Russian drone attacks have caused massive power outages affecting more than 100,000 homes. President Zelensky reported that Russia's latest strikes specifically targeted energy infrastructure, which seems to be part of a sustained campaign to cripple Ukraine's power grid as winter approaches. This is having a real humanitarian impact, leaving ordinary Ukrainians without electricity during increasingly cold weather. Trade relations are also making headlines today, with India bracing for the impact of Trump's 50% tariffs that have just come into effect. This is essentially economic punishment for India's continued purchase of Russian oil, and it's really straining what were once warm diplomatic and trade relationships between the two countries. The Indian government is scrambling to figure out how to respond to these tariffs while balancing their energy needs and international relationships. Finally, Germany is dealing with its own security concerns as they tiptoe toward potentially reinstating compulsory military service. Caught between an increasingly aggressive Russia and a Trump administration that's been reluctant to pay for Europe's defense, Germany is looking at ways to increase their military ranks. It's a delicate political situation domestically, as compulsory military service has been a contentious issue in German politics for years. What we're seeing across all these stories is a world where traditional alliances are being tested, new power dynamics are emerging, and countries are having to make increasingly difficult choices about where they stand on various international issues. The interconnected nature of these conflicts and diplomatic tensions really shows how decisions made in one part of the world can have ripple effects everywhere else.